Welcome back. Now, it's been a tough year for Sasfin. The financial services company slipped into the red, reporting a loss of 58.7 million rand. And joining us to unpack the drivers behind that performance is company CEO Michael Sassoon. Thank you so much for your time, Michael. Let's actually start off with that. A difficult year indeed for Sasfin. Just paint a picture of the context and the drivers of the losses in this reporting period.
Yeah, thanks for having your show. Sasfin, I think it's well known. We've had a difficult couple of years, largely stemming from some challenges, historic challenges. We've done a lot of work to restructure our business, and we're reshaping our business around our two core pillars, our wealth and asset finance businesses, which both produced solid results in this year. But we've incurred lots of once-off costs. We've also had to raise the provision for administrative sanctions relating back to allegations of non-compliance in our foreign exchange business many years ago. We've spent a lot of money, as you can imagine, on legal fees and professional service firms to ensure that we got to the bottom of the various issues. And we've been exiting non-core activities, which also comes with its own set of costs. So embedded in the numbers is slightly lower revenue as we focus on our core activities. The cost base is largely flat, but includes a big portion of once-off costs and then a weaker credit performance. So impairments are up. We lend to businesses, and I think it's well known that it's been a difficult economy this last year or so for businesses, and therefore we have seen a spike in our credit losses.
I mean, Michael, you mentioned the restructuring costs as, of course, you are embarking on this strategy reset, but also pressure from the businesses that you are letting go of. But are there fundamental remaining pressures that could stretch how long the losses last?
Yeah, I think that there's the final stage of our strategic reset, which includes exiting of the banking business in this next year or so, which will put us firmly behind our two core businesses. Might still put some pressure on earnings in the short term. We think that we will be profitable, but marginally profitable in the short term. And then we believe that thereafter we should be able to generate solid returns for our shareholders.
And actually, what is the magnitude of the provisions that you have set aside, concerning I guess the dispute that you do have with SARS concerning the obviously money laundering case and the illicit tobacco dealings from the Forex division?
Yeah, so we've got a provision against the regulatory administrative sanctions from the South African Reserve Bank. Those sanctions we announced to the market were 210 million, of which 50 million was suspended. However, they are subject to their own regulatory and legal process. And based on input from our expert legal advisors, as well as a lot of work done by the company, we believe that the likely outcome over there will be 55 million rand, which is what we have provided. But it's based on a weighted average scenario, and it's still subject to going through the full process, which might take a number of months. On the SARS action, it's important to note that that is a damages claim. It's not a regulatory action. SARS is pursuing damages against Sasfin for uncollected taxes from former clients of the group. And as we've said, we believe that that claim is unprecedented, and it's got, based on the legal advice we've gotten, it's got little merit, and therefore we don't raise any liability or provision against that SARS action.
All right.
What I think is also just important to note, sorry to interrupt you, is that we have taken rigorous action. We've shared all the information with the regulators and the authorities. We've laid charges. We've exited all implicated clients and accounts. And we actually, this year, we shut down our foreign exchange business, which is always a very small business in the context of Sasfin. So we've taken steps beyond what I think could have been expected to address financial crime, which we take very seriously.
All right. Okay. So I hear you here. Two kind of different actions here. You do have the provision that you raised for the regulatory sanctions that the SARB has leveled, but then there's the SARS action which you are still fighting at this point. All right. Thank you so much for clearing that up for us, Michael. I mean, were these challenges responsible for the delay that we had in the release of your financial results?
Yeah, I think that what happens is when, obviously, given the risks we've been facing, what's been very important to us is to ensure that our accounts financially fairly present.
Yeah.
And we asked our auditors, management and the board asked our auditors to do a thorough substantive audit and to really assess everything. As you can imagine, as you're exiting businesses, that creates discontinued operations, the potential regulatory actions, all of which require very thorough assessments. And that altogether contributed to extra work that was done, which contributed to the delay.
All right. Well, and talking about, action under the umbrella of the JSE, the delisting that Sasfin has proposed, is that set in stone? And really, what are the main reasons for that decision?
Yeah, so we haven't yet issued the circular. The circular should be issued in the coming weeks, but we have received irrevocable undertakings from 90% of our shareholders that have said that they will remain invested in Sasfin post the delisting, which I think is indicative of our share register. We're a very tightly controlled company. Our top 4 or 5 major shareholders own 90% of the company, and therefore there's very limited value that we're getting from the listing, whereby I think to really justify the listing, you want to have a very large spread of shareholders. And given the nature of our share register and the backing that we've got from our major shareholders, we believe that this is an opportunity to streamline the company further and give the minority shareholders an opportunity to either remain invested or to exit at 30 Rand a share, which we think is a very reasonable offer.
All right. Well, Michael, as we're talking about the future, I mean, after filtering out your non-core operations, the focus will be on the wealth and rental finance businesses. What will be needed for these businesses to achieve the growth runway that Sasfin needs?
Yes, our wealth business has achieved good, solid growth over many years, and we believe by being delisted and exiting on the non-core activities will allow us to focus more on that business. We also announced today that we've appointed Gloria Sorobe as the chairman of Sasfin Wealth. Wippold have been a major shareholder of Sasfin's for the last 7 years. They are wonderful shareholders, and Gloria, I don't think, needs much of an introduction, having led the Solidarity Fund, amongst many, many other roles she's fulfilled in the country. So we've got her leadership, bringing that onto the board, and we think that that will add further value. We've got some exceptional people in our wealth business, and we're quite excited about those prospects. In the rental finance business, that's a business that Sasfin's been in for many decades. It's largely funded by securitization funders who've been supportive of us throughout the last many years. And we see good opportunity to diversify that business further. It's also got a wonderful management team with deep relationships with our suppliers, and we really are the market leader in that space. So we think that by being very focused on these two businesses, set up in the right framework for their success, we think that there is good scope for both of those to grow.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time and really just giving us insight into the financial performance of Sasfin in this reporting period, but also what you will be focusing on in the future. That was CEO of Sasfin, Michael Sassoon.